Today's case is about a murder that took place inside a high-security apartment complex, proving that no one is safe. On October 17, 2015, Sasha Samsudean returned to her apartment after partying with her friends in downtown Orlando, Florida. CCTV captured her staggering up the flights of stairs towards her apartment. Hours later, she was found dead in her bed by the police with no sign of who the murderer was. The truth of what happened that night is shocking and just may give you some sleepless nights. Sasha Samsudean was born on July 4, 1988 in Central Florida. Soon after graduating from the University of Florida, she joined Pearson, an Orlando-based real estate and marketing company, as a social media manager. Her family and friends described her as bubbly, fun, intelligent, and bright. People who worked with her said she was excellent at her job and she loved being part of that environment. She had recently moved to a luxurious apartment at Uptown Place. Uptown Apartments had a gym, state-of-the-art security, night guards, and doors that required key fobs to enter. Sasha was thrilled to finally have a place of her own, and it seemed as if life was looking up for her. Friday, October 16, 2015 was the last day of the Orlando soccer season, and every soccer fan would be out watching the game. When her team won, Sasha and her friends went to get drinks and celebrate at Attic nightclub. Around 12:30 a.m., Sasha told her friend Anthony she was leaving. Anthony said they would frequently separate at outings and meet at different bars on the same evening, so he didn't think much of it. With that, everyone continued enjoying their time. Sasha and Anthony had agreed to meet for breakfast the next day, but the following morning, Sasha had not shown up. She was not responding to Anthony's texts either. Anthony figured she was hungover and just needed to sleep it off. But as hours passed and Anthony still hadn't heard from Sasha, he became concerned. Sasha was always on her phone and always on social media, so for her to not respond to texts was totally out of character for her. He reached out to two of her friends, and three of them decided to stop by Sasha's apartment. When they pulled into the parking lot, they spotted Sasha's car, and in the backseat was a gift she was supposed to take to a baby shower earlier that day. They knocked on the door of her apartment but got no response. Anthony called 911 and reported her missing. The police arrived at 8 p.m. that night to do a welfare check. Sasha's third-floor apartment had no signs of a break-in. The residents, for the most part, appeared normal. That was, until a police officer saw a comforter rolled into an odd tube shape with hair sticking out of one end and a hand hanging off the edge of the bed. The police had found Sasha Samsudean. Sasha had been assaulted, raped, and strangled. Her neck had been shattered. Sasha had fought hard against her attacker as her body was covered with defensive wounds. Sasha's phone, purse, and key fob had been missing, and the apartment smelled strongly of cleaning products that were poured on her skin and on the bedsheet to get rid of any DNA evidence. However, whoever murdered Sasha was not thorough enough in removing all the evidence. The toilet seat had been left up, and 2 fingerprints were found on the bottom of the lid. Another was discovered on Sasha's nightstand. Afterward, they found a condom wrapper beside her bed and size 9 shoe prints on the floor. DNA had meanwhile been retrieved from Sasha's chest. 30-year-old Stephen Duxbury had been a security guard in Uptown Place for about 5 months. He had seen Sasha come back home that morning. During an interview with the police, he revealed that Sasha had arrived at the entrance of the Uptown Place around 1:45 a.m. with 2 other women. However, she did not have an ID or keys. She got into the building by slipping behind a male resident. Stephen then went looking for her in the building. When he eventually found her, she was trying and failing to input the code to get into her room. Sasha then asked Stephen to walk with her to her car to see if her keys were in there. But as the pair got outside, she said that she suddenly remembered the code and ran back in. When the pair returned to her door, Sasha tried the code but failed. This time, Stephen left her to keep trying, but he said that if she hadn't gotten it by the time he did another sweep of the building, they needed to come up with a solution. When he returned, she was gone, and he figured she must have worked out the code, but later on, Stephen said he had seen her walking in the building again, this time with an unknown man. The police had to know who this mysterious man was, and fast. Looking at Sasha's movements from that night at the Attic nightclub through CCTV where she left her friends, it was about a half-hour walk away from her apartment. Footage outside the Attic nightclub showed Sasha alone hobbling through the crowd, In footage from the next camera, she had been joined by 2 women. The police used this footage to send out a press release, hoping whoever was with her would come forward, and to their relief, they did. The 2 women said they had seen Sasha in downtown Orlando that night. She was drunk and women were concerned about her safety, so they decided to book an Uber with her to drop her off. They then waited as she tried to enter the building but was unsuccessful as she did not have her key fob. Before long, they were approached by Steven. He said he couldn't let anyone into the building without identification or proof of residence, but when another tenant entered the building, Sasha slipped through the gate. That was the last they saw of Sasha. This account matched Steven's, and the police needed footage from inside Uptown Place. The police found Sasha's iPad in her apartment, and as it shared some of its data with her phone, the police could go through her messages. Sasha had sent a text to a man named Ben at 5:12 a.m., who had previously dated Sasha. Sasha sent a text message containing one word, Ben. Ben replied 16 minutes later, but she didn't respond. This was the last activity that took place on any of her devices. The police called Ben in for questioning, and he willingly gave the police a DNA sample. With that, he was let go. By this time, security footage had been retrieved from an off-site security company, and police took on the painstaking task of going through every second of it. What the police found on the footage shocked them and every resident of Uptown Place. The footage showed Sasha entering the building at around 1:46 a.m. She was followed behind by an unknown man who asked if she was okay. She then headed up the stairs and disappeared from view for about 20 minutes. At around 1:48 a.m., Stephen Duxbury can be seen entering the building behind Sasha. The investigators continued to analyze the footage to see if they missed anyone entering or leaving Uptown Place in the early hours. They saw something in the footage. Sasha was seen running up more stairs at 2:06 a.m., followed by security guard Stephen, and just as he said at 2:25 a.m., he could be seen walking with Sasha towards her car. But as soon as Sasha said she remembered the code, the pair walked back inside, and this was the last time the police saw Sasha on CCTV. The investigators continued to analyze the footage to see if they missed anyone entering or leaving Uptown Place in the early hours. They saw something in the footage at 6:36 a.m. that piqued their interest. Stephen could be seen exiting the second floor of the building towards the second floor car park, carrying 2 trash bags. Then, Stephen could be seen entering the building at 6:38 a.m., and Stephen had told officers that his shift had ended at 6 a.m. The police had to ask the administration if taking out the trash was a part of the security guard's job. The administration confirmed that it wasn't. Upon further inspection, they discovered that the trash bags were from Sasha's room. Following this, the police got a search warrant for Stephen Duxbury's home, and Stephen was asked to go in for a polygraph test. Stephen was asked if he ever entered Sasha's home during the test. He said no, but the polygraph indicated deception. Following this, the interviewer asked him if he knew how Sasha died and listed out different potential methods of killing someone. His heart rate shot up when asked if Sasha died from choking, showing extreme levels of deception. After the police searched his home, they found sneakers matching the imprint on Sasha's apartment. 3 days later, the police confirmed that the fingerprints left under the toilet seat were Stephen's, and the DNA found on Sasha's chest also belonged to him. His phone record showed a disturbing search being made at around 5 a.m. He looked up how to override a quick-set keypad lock, the same lock Sasha had on her apartment door. Stephen also had bite marks and scratches on his body. The police believed that Stephen entered Sasha's apartment, sexually assaulted her, and killed her. He then used Sasha's cleaning products to get rid of any DNA before taking evidentiary items to his car and disposing of them later. Following a 7-day trial and 4 hours of deliberation, Stephen Duxbury was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murder of Sasha Samsudean. Sasha's parents showed sympathy for Stephen's mother, stating that both of them had lost their children. Sasha's parents worked with the Orange County Sheriff's Office to help other families deal with the grief of losing a child. The case of Sasha Samsudean shows that even with the state-of-the-art security and night guards, we are never truly safe.